Hey everyone, thanks for joining again. Welcome back to another video. It's been probably about a week since the last one. I know if you're catching on to these later, I'm hoping to do more, so please, for all intents and purposes, smash the like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell. It'll notify me. It'll be great for me to be encouraged to do more of these. Hopefully some nuggets and tidbits that you guys will enjoy. So I just wanted to get into just a couple key findings on a report that came out this week on capital raising from HFM. It was labeled capital raising in a crisis. And surprisingly enough, there was positive news out of it, which is encouraging for me. I think one of the quotes that came across from a Swiss family office was virtual cap intro events are well organized and put on well, and they are done in a tasteful manner, and they're actually able to utilize that, which is great news given the fact that we can't be traveling. Another couple key findings that I thought was very encouraging as well is there was a 60% retention on investors in hedge funds, thinking of hedge funds more favorably post-pandemic or during this pandemic than before. So obviously, hedge funds being able to keep returns up, etc., is probably part of those encouraging signs of 60% positive outlook. 25% of managers expect cold calling to yield the most new leads. So it goes back to some of my other videos where I said, don't send across term sheets. Forget just emailing or the spray and pray. That's not going to work. Picking up the phone, trying to get on calls with these allocators, be persistent, and 25% of managers think that is going to be the best yield for new leads. You got 30% of IR and marketing professionals that plan to travel in Q4. So again, this just leads to people like myself not being able to travel around. Particularly, I'm sitting in Sydney currently, so it's very prohibitive for me. So that's 70% of us that don't expect to travel, and we've got to find the other ways to do it. Digital, cold calling, other ways to build those relationships, Zoom calls, etc. We think the study has H1, so half of the first year of 2021 is when investors and investor relations people or marketers expect to attend their first or their next in-person cap intro event. So, H1, right? That's 9 months from now, sometime within that period of the next 6 months, possibly. So that could be March, April, May, June, July, before we think we're going to get back to in-person cap intro events. So again, you got to be diligent. You got to think of other ways to get that. Interestingly enough, with my home country, it says investors and IRs in the U.S. are more cautious about meeting in person than those in Europe. So, that's alluding to me that people in Europe are a little bit more comfortable getting out, going to in-person meetings, which is great. So for cap raising events, meeting allocators, looking for capital raises to occur, it sounds like Europe is going to be a little bit ahead of U.S., at least in sentiment, in getting together and doing those deals in person. Interesting statistic. 70% of allocators want to know if a senior investment professional catches COVID-19. So communicating to your investors, your prospects, whether someone on the investment team that is in a senior role, so portfolio managers, et cetera, senior analysts, et cetera, catch COVID-19. So that's very interesting. I would have thought that medically you would have kept that maybe quiet unless it was a key man event. But so 70% of the allocators want to know. That's great. Nearly 50%, another key statistic, 50% of investors approve of an entirely virtual ODD, or operational due diligence. phenomenal. I know in January, February when this started, I would have thought zero, and then very small increments. And now, you know, based on the polling, 50% of investors approve an entirely virtual ODD. That's non-existent in our industry since at least the Bernie Madoff days. So that's great for it to be coming back to, or at least catching up with technology and how we've been communicating for the last 6 months. And so I'm really encouraged by that. And then lastly, which is a good sign of the first statistics when we talked about 60% of investors view the hedge funds more favorably, 75% of investors feel hedge funds have delivered value for money in 2020. So that means net of fees, they feel that 75% of hedge funds have delivered value. So you know what? That's great. I think it's an encouraging sign for all of us, you know, that are out there trying to raise capital for our funds, trying to, you know, pull more people into the funnel, trying to be able to communicate with our allocators and prospective investors, build relationships with them. This is telling me that we're going down a path and people are dealing with the pandemic well and still knowing that they've got to get money to work. And so that's top of mind. And thinking about the new ways that that's being done is being adopted. So phenomenal. Again, please smash the like button, leave a comment. I will personally respond to you timely. Hit the subscribe and the bell so you get notified when new content is published. It's not going to be regularly, maybe every week, 2 weeks at most. And so I look forward to the next video, and hopefully that gave you some useful information that you could take away.